Well, it's going to put a lot of pressure on HBO Max to push through that initial trial and really show consumers the value for that price point. Are they going to be able to produce enough content at the right level to justify that type of price premium? Or do they simply provide a pricing umbrella that allows some of those competitors to start raising prices as well?
It looks and feels a bit different to the other interfaces that you're seeing. Many were modeling their own services off Netflix that was seen as the gold standard. Is that a misstep because you've got a consumer that's now being asked to learn something different when they're using HBO Max?
Well, consumers have proven to be pretty effective at learning how the interfaces work. And the significance of HBO Max entering the market is that the market is now mature. So we're going to start seeing the competitors compete with each other with different features, different interfaces. The user experience is going to be how these different competitors are going to win in the space. So it's actually heartening to see HBO Max try something different to see if they can break out and create a different level of consumer stickiness.
Greg, it's fascinating how COVID-19 appears to be changing habits. Some data from Comcast, our own parent company, suggests television viewing has shot up through this period, which is understandable, judging by the lockdown conditions that many people have been in. But when we come through the other side of this, do you think people continue to consume content at the pace they have? Or do we actually see people just wanting to charge outside into the fresh air and the sunshine to get away from the screens?
I think we're all looking for that fresh air and sunshine at this point. But what's important to understand when we think about consumer trends is what's being driven by a lack of choice versus a true change. So undoubtedly, consumers have gotten more used to working with the video through the high-speed connection. But at the same time, the draw for competing activities is something that we would expect to mute the growth in the video sector.
And in terms of the saturation or the capacity for the market to take new subscription services at the moment, what do you think people are prepared to pay out for? I mean, I look at my own house. We've got at least two television subscription services. I'm not sure how much I want to add a third or a fourth.
Well, and it's not just the television services or the video services. It's all of the subscription services that your households are subscribing to. So it's a mistake for some of these companies to define their market as just subscription video. It really is streaming content, entertainment that's even offline. So the industry is at a pretty important inflection point where they switch from trying to gain consumer adoption to really competing for share, much more like a traditional consumer brand does.
I'm surprised you've only got two, Jeff. I've got about four, which feels like a little bit too many to have at this point. Greg, I want to ask you about the amount of productions coming to the mix, because many of these streaming services thrive on new content, having all these exclusives. And clearly there was a little bit of an issue around COVID-19 and what HBO Max was hoping to bring to the mix. They wanted a new Friends reunion special that hasn't happened because of the impact on the filming schedule. What do you make of the impact for many of these streaming services, including HBO Max, because of the social distancing that will stall some of the productions?
Well, it'll stall some of the productions, but we need to keep in mind that these companies are creative by nature. So they're going to find innovative ways to get new content out there. I think at this point, all of the major competitors realize that their libraries are an important component of this, but they're not museums. They're libraries that are meant to build and grow. So I think we'll start seeing some innovative content development to try to make up for this gap in traditional production.